So my scientific research is on the field of the novel of 19th century. And today I would like to share my observation on novel as a literary genre. And before I start my research, let me offer you three questions that can be discussed together after my speech. You can see it on this slide. So the first question is, what is your favorite novel and why? What kinds of novel is this? What writers have contributed greatly to the development of novel? Tell us about one of them. Name your favorite novel character. On what kind of problems did he or she make you think about? So you have a time to think about that question, then you have to choose one of them, and we will discuss after my presentation if you do not mind. The question is, what is the novel? Is still an open problem in scientific world. Till nowadays, researchers cannot solve it completely. The main question is why? Probably because many literary definitions and concepts do not have a single one meaning and description of the following term. These equivalents are ambiguous. In addition, they have changed from time to time and acquired new meanings. This testifies to the great variety and infinity of the meanings of fiction. It is like a sea or an ocean that never stops and always surprises us with its unpredictable changes. Something similar has happened and is happening with the novel. Actually, in science, not even one term is used, but several meanings. There is the term romance, French Roman. It has two meanings. The first, an antique or medieval text. The second, old-style text. Canadian explorer Northrop Frye interprets the Romance as the kind of antique or medieval prose about the mysterious and extraordinary adventures of heroes. He believes that there are many legends and myths in Romance in which act both gods and people, and heroes are exciting under the influence of mysterious forces. Novel refers to a contemporary world which describes a literary genre of its nowadays existence, but does not all. In English literature criticism, two similar definitions are distinguished. Story is a true and up-to-life event, as well as the novel is the fictional and untrue event. When did the first Roman appear in Europe? It appeared in the era of antiquity. Also, the extant world and the Romans didn't exist yet. In the Middle Ages in Europe, any large-scale works written in Roman languages, French, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, etc., and not in Latin languages. Roman languages called Romance. This is the word Romance comes from the name of the Roman language. In the Middle Ages, knightly romances about the various adventures of knights who performed feats in the name of their love for a beautiful lady, or in the name of serving their king, or even in the name of the whole country. During the Renaissance, chivalrous romances were revised. Reality has changed, and a sphere was impossible to live in this sphere of the beautiful illusions and ideals, which were extremely far from reality. Therefore, the Spanish writer Miguel de Cervantes wrote a great work, Don Quixote, in the style of chivalrous romance. It was already a transition from romance to novel and to story. Don Quixote, who considers himself a knight, rides the road of the Spain, tries to fight evil, and protects the poor and humiliated. But his chivalrous ideas are outdated. Therefore, Don Quixote also wants a justice, which unfortunately causes only laughter at him in certain situations. In a new life, it was necessary to live and think in the new way. But how? The writer doesn't answer this question. His Don Quixote stays a big mystery for humanity. How to understand the complicity of life? How to find yourself in the real circumstances? How to combine dream and reality together? And are you able to improve the life by your own efforts? These are the main questions that are contained in the novel by Miguel de Cervantes. The past of Don Quixote is the metaphor for the past of man and humanity, a metaphor for mistakes, illusions, and delusions, but at the same time striving for the ideal. The formation of the novel in Europe began very actively in the 18th century. This was the era of Enlightenment. Then there were many writers who began to study the real life. They created characters who traveled a lot, who got into various different situations and circumstances, and only their minds, energy, connection with real life helped them to survive and win. For instance, the character Robinson Crusoe in novel The Adventures of Robinson Crusoe, which was written by French writer Daniel Defoe, or Gulliver from the novel Gulliver's Travels, written by English writer Jonathan Swift. In 18th century travel, adventures, philosophical and social novels appeared in Europe. Another important moment occurs precisely in 18th century, that is, the novel includes the themes of people's private life, their love and their relationship. All of this has become very important and interesting. Since that time, the novel has developed very quickly and dynamically as well. In 19th century, the novel in Europe became the leading genre in the literary process. It has become voluminous and deep in its content. It has a lot of storylines and different kinds of character, also various spheres of life, all aspects of reality were presented as well. French novelists Honoré de Balzac, Frédéric Stendhal, Gustave Flaubert played an important role in the development of 19th century novel because they understood the novel as a scientific genre. French writers wanted to explore and analyze life and people through the fiction. English novelists Charles Dickens, William Thackeray, Jane Austen, Charlotte Bronte, and others studies the behavior and morality of people in real circumstances, discover the themes of love and other struggles for human rights. I would like also to note the great role of the Russian novel in world literature. Alexander Pushkin, Fyodor Dostoevsky, Lev Tolstoy, and other Russian writers presented the complex world of human soul. Therefore, their novels are called philosophical and psychological. Now let's fix our attention on the characteristic feature of the novel. How does this genre differ from another genres? Since a very large number of novels have accumulated in Europe by 19th century, this genre became specially studied. The first major research was done by German philosopher and scientist George William Friedrich Hegel in the lecture on aesthetics. He identified the key features of the novel. The first, a broad image of life. The second, the conflict between the poetry of the heart and prose of the life. The third, relationship between people. The fourth, the duration and complexity of character development. And the last one is belonging to the epos, not to the lyrics or drama. Since that moment, various definitions of the novel have appeared in which different criteria are obvious, but until now, no one has succeeded in creating a definite and definition of the novel. Although in different dictionaries and encyclopedias, there are definitions of the novel, there is no final definitions cannot be. Hungarian scientist George Lukács, at the beginning of his career, was found the ideas of Hegel. As the result, in 1916, he wrote the theory of the novel, which was published in 1920 in Berlin. His fate was difficult. He was even the Minister of Culture in Hungary in 1919 and 1956. After the fall of the Hungarian Republic, he was persecuted and arrested, including by the authorities of the former USSR. He became an immigrant and wasn't able to return to Hungary. During the Soviet era, George Lukács' works were prohibited. The main ideas of his work theory of novel. The novel reflects the complex relationship between person and the world. Time plays an important role in the novel. Each person experiences time individually. A problematic character is placed on the center of the novel. He or she carries the spiritual problems of the generation. They come into conflict with the surrounding world. The subject of the novel is the story of individuality or personal souls on the path of understanding him or herself in the world. Lukács constantly compared the novel with Apis. Another great researcher, Mikhail Bakhtin, followed the same path too. He knew perfectly well the work theory of novel written by George Lukács. In the 1920s, he began to translate it from German. Bakhtin and Lukács corresponded for some time in exchanging their ideas. Therefore, Bakhtin relied on legacy of Lukács, but at the same time creating his own original concept, which was reflected in his work, in particular work, Apis and Novel. Now you can see on the slide different features of the Apis. I mean, like the comparison between Apis and Novel as well. Yes, if you don't mind, I go to the next slide because I'm out of time, unfortunately. And I would like to end my report with the quotation of Mikhail Bakhtin. The novel is the only emerging genre. Therefore, it reflects the formation of reality itself more deeply, sensibly, and quickly. The novel became the leading hero of the literary development of the new time precisely because it expresses the tendencies of the formation of the nowadays. It is the only genre born in this world and everything natural to it. Thank you for your attention. And now, if you do not mind, let's discuss my 3 questions that I given up to you at the beginning of my presentation. And in the last slide, you may see the list of the literature that I have used.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for all of the participants as well. Now you can see on the slide 3 questions. You may choose only one. And if you do not mind, we can discuss it. Or maybe you have some questions for me and I will be so glad to answer them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we have some minutes, so please, please speak up. And what is your favorite novel and why? Or so, Anna, please start by yourself. What is your favorite novel?
Yeah, my favorite novel is The Picture of Dorian Gray, written by Oscar Wilde. You know, there is why I'm sitting with my partner and so satisfied with her report. Yeah,
Why
because there's one of the best novels for me as well.
why do you like that novel so much?
Oh, because I'm an artist. I'm an artist, that is why it's like so similar to my soul and to my vision of the world. That is why it's like a reflection of myself in that novel. So I have found something with that. I mean, like the reflection with my soul and maybe the comparison with the soul of the Basil as well. So when I make the creation of something, so when I paint some picture, so it's like a reflection of my soul as well. It's like a little part of myself in that picture. So that is why, yeah, I adore that novel so much.